A friend of mine used to have an email signature that said this: the most important thing is to make sure the most important thing is the most important thing. So here's my question. In selling, what is the most important thing?
This is Sales Untraining, a very different kind of sales podcast. 3 out of 4 salespeople are failing. They're falling short of their revenue. Why doesn't sales training work? That's what this sales podcast is about. It's your weekly sales strategy guide designed to rewire your sales brain.
Welcome to Sales Untraining. I'm Kelly Riggs. It is your weekly sales strategy guide designed to completely rewire your sales brain. And I am so glad to have you on board for this show, hopefully for the balance of all the shows that we do. So like and subscribe to the podcast. More importantly, I hope you will share it with someone as well. This week we talk about the most important thing. Let me go through that again. The most important thing is to make sure the most important thing is the most important thing. Okay, what's the point? I mean, it's a little bit annoying, frankly. The first time I read it, I went, what? The most important thing that I do is to make sure that whatever I think is the most important thing is actually the most important thing. Because as we used to say way back in the whenevers, people tend to major in minors. You understand the idea? Is we spend a lot of time doing the little things that make us feel like we're getting something done. I mean, we're busy, don't you know? But it's not like we're doing the most important thing. Our actions say we're doing the most important thing because after all, that's what we're doing. Wouldn't we actually focus on that which is important? Turns out, no, not so much. And boy, does it apply to selling. You ever thought about it? What is the most important thing in selling? Now, I ask this question a lot. I get a laundry list of answers. But let's be clear. There's one thing, if you don't have, then you don't have anything. No, it's not your product. That goes without saying. I think we're selling something. So we're saying in selling implies there's something to sell. Yes, someone to sell it to. Opportunities. Absolutely, the most important thing is to have viable, high quality, qualified opportunities. Because without them, we don't have anything. We have less than anything. We can't get out of the gate. And so, it begs this very serious question that to me seems self-evident. Why does prospecting come in last? You know it does. I know it does. If salespeople are required to run the entire sales process, sales cycle themselves, in other words, they have to identify their own opportunities, run them through the sales process, and spit out revenue at the end. Have you ever noticed how prospecting is last? We just don't have time for it, Kelly. We're too busy serving our customers. I mean, I will jump in the car and drive 2 hours to deliver that $40 part because I have to be customer centric, don't you know? Well, yes, but service and servitude are different. You know, good service has to come within the bounds of good sense, and that makes no sense whatsoever. But you know, it does make a great excuse. Kelly, I've got to take care of customers, and you don't understand. I have well over 100 customers, and man, I've got to be out there taking care of things so they'll come back and buy some more. Meanwhile, yeah, I know I'm not 100% of plan. Haven't been for a couple of years now, but I'm close, don't you know? And really the reason is, well, the economy, that's a given. But the reason is because I just have too many people to take care of. How dare you suggest that they cut out the number of customers that they're serving? Oh my word, you'll have a riot on your hands. Never mind that 80% of their customers are producing 20% of their revenue. Yes, 20% of their customers are producing the biggest part of their revenue, but they need all the rest of them. Assume you do have 100. Do you realize 20 are producing 80% of your revenue and the other 80 are producing the balance, that disparity between the big ones and the small ones, just on average, is 16 to 20 times different. It makes no sense mathematically, but it makes no sense in any other dimension either. Why isn't prospecting the single most important thing that is done every week? No, I didn't say every day. That's really hard to manage. But every week, I can set aside time to identify, blueprint those key opportunities that I need to begin to develop. Okay, pause. Somebody's screaming at me. Kelly, we have SDRs. We have people who book our leads, and salespeople don't have that responsibility. Or okay, time out. First off, it's just a lead until it's an opportunity. So what's the most important thing that I should be out there doing? Creating and qualifying more opportunities. If you tell me you have enough leads coming in that you never have a shortage of opportunities, that your pipeline has way more than enough to spit out the number that they're supposed to hit every single year, then why are people below quota? No, big chunks of them. Over half of all salespeople every year, according to the data, don't hit their number. So I think there's a flaw in the thinking. Somewhere there's an excuse being made why I shouldn't have to prospect. Prospecting is the most important thing. No matter who's doing it, it's the most important thing. Turning leads into opportunities, the most important thing. So does your team, does each individual salesperson have a plan to prospect? And do you manage the top end of that funnel? Are you completely aware of how much is coming in, the quality of what's there? Oh, Kelly, we have CRM for that. I mean, after all, you spit out our pipeline report, we have $300 million in opportunities. Oh, really? What was annual sales last year? 30 million. Oh, so you have 7x, 10x in opportunities? By the way, have you taken a look at those opportunities in CRM and see how old they are and they're never going to amount to anything? Now listen, I work with a lot of companies that have sales cycles that somebody can go 3, 5, 7 years without making an actual purchase. Projects, especially given the current economic climate, might get pushed out quite a bit further. I get that, but great salespeople and great sales leaders know exactly what's going on. And so if you've got those kinds of opportunities, while I still may need to work them, monitor them, visit them, they're not really a part of my viable pipeline to hit my number this year. Talked to a sales guy, it's been a couple of years ago. It's been a while, but he was sharing a story with me. I'd been there working with their team, and he asked me, could he take me to the airport rather than me grabbing an Uber? I said, sure. So on the way to the airport, he says, listen, I got an issue and I need to ask your advice. I go, okay, what's up? He goes, I spent all year chasing this big opportunity, money in the bank. I mean, done deal. I mean, everything about it was done deal. They're in, they love it. The specs are good. The RFP is golden. Everything about it is great. They're ready to pull the trigger in 30 days. In 30 days. In 30 days. I get to the end of the year. I got smoked. My per quota percentage was less than 20%. What should I do? Well, I don't know who to be more mad at, you or your sales leader. But clearly both of you have some culpability that you've got all your proverbial eggs in one basket and you don't have a pipeline to account for this if you don't get it. What's the purpose of a sales plan if the plan doesn't include what happens if we don't nail down 1 or 2 or 3 of these very specific accounts that we think we have to hit our number? What do? Go back and tell the boss, hey, listen, not my fault. Yeah, it's your fault. Because opportunities are the most important thing. And if you're not measuring and monitoring pipeline and opportunity generation as a sales leader, then you're failing dramatically as a sales leader. Well, coming up, we'll come back and I'll talk to you about one of the most significant leaks in your prospecting game that's costing you a lot of viable opportunities. Stay with me. I'm Kelly Riggs, host of the Sales Untraining podcast. A couple of quick questions for you. Do you hire salespeople? Is sales turnover far too high in your organization? Do you struggle to find A players for your sales team? Well, these are very common questions, and there is a better way to hire. I'm a partner with Objective Management Group, OMG, and they have been assessing sales candidates for over 30 years. In fact, they've assessed over 2.5 million salespeople. Now, this is a very different type of assessment. First thing out of your mind is it another behavioral assessment? Is it a psychometric tool? Is it a personality quiz? No, nothing like that. It is based on 21 very specific sales competencies. And you need to listen to this. This is crazy. It is 91% predictive of sales performance. That's right, 91% predictive. You can't even make a claim like that without the science behind it. Listen, if you struggle to find the right people, or if you just need a lot more help in the hiring process and making sure you're getting in front of the right people to hire, please email me, kelly@bizlockerroom.com. Oh, by the way, and you can absolutely try it for free, and it has a guarantee. kelly@bizlockerroom.com. Back to the show. Welcome back to Sales Untraining. I'm Kelly Riggs, as we talk about the most important thing, and that most important thing clearly is creating opportunities, enough opportunities that we can walk our way to our number every single year, instead of, blaming things on the economy or the marketing or every other thing in the world. And, blaming it on that set of circumstances in which we didn't get that big account that 100% we were going to get at the first of the year. It happens, right? But good plans actually accommodate those kinds of things. We talk about prospecting. Why would you spend money, time, resources teaching your people how to be more successful as salespeople if you don't expect them to actually practice the habits of creating opportunities? It's kind of backwards, don't you think? We ought to be really freaking great at creating opportunities, and then we need to get really good at converting those opportunities. I mean, yeah, it's not exactly a linear sequence, but again, the importance and the excuse making that we use to get out of that process is a real problem. Well, we talk about creating opportunities. Admittedly, this won't apply to every single one of you as sales leaders, but it's going to get the biggest chunk of you. One of the biggest leaks in your game is trade shows. Yeah, I mean, geez, as a sales leader, I love trade shows so much. I mean, are you kidding me? In the real world, I have to go out and get in front of decision makers. I have to find out who they are. I have to find out if they've got something going on that we can even get involved in from a product standpoint, a service standpoint. But getting in front of them is incredibly difficult. Trade shows, they're coming. Wait, hang on. They're coming to us? They're walking into our booth? Sign me up. Boy, I made a living in trade shows. Regardless of the industries that I worked in, we leveraged trade shows like crazy. Why is it a big leak for prospecting? Because, folks, the vast majority of people don't do trade shows any justice whatsoever. It kills me. I talk to sales leader after sales leader, CEOs, business owners, general managers. They're like, hey, do you really think we need to go to these trade shows? Why do you ask? Well, first off, it costs fill in the blank, $40, $80, $150, $250,000. And I just feel like we don't get a lot out of it. We take 8, 10, 12, 15 salespeople out of the field, product managers, executives, we bring them all out of working into a trade show. And basically it seems to me like all we do is drink a lot, everything else other than what we should be doing. Wait a minute. You're in the trade show, right? Oh yeah, we spent another $100,000 on the booth, and I'm talking about revisions to the booth, and we've got great videos, and we ship samples in, and have machines everywhere if that's what we do. I mean, it's an enormous expense. All right, so what's the problem? Well, we come back and we've got like 100 leads, 150 leads. Scan their card or swipe their card, whatever that thing is, the computer. Now it's all QR codes. We have all these leads, but we don't really track them. We don't really know what's going on with them. I mean, a few of them, and clearly we do get some business out of the trade shows, but between me and you, the primary reason we go to these trade shows is, what's the answer? Well, because if we don't go, people will think we're out of business. I can't tell you how many times I've been told that. Or some version of, well, we have to be there because the competitors are. Hey, come on. Trade shows are amazing if you do them right. You have to have a pre-show strategy. You have to have an in-show strategy. You have to have a post-show strategy. Follow up, accountability to the leads, et cetera, et cetera. Most people do everything for the trade show, but pay no attention to the sales strategy inside the trade show. Oh my goodness, we have upgraded our marketing, changed our signage, improved our samples, brought in swag and tchotchkes and all this junk that we're going to give away. What's the purpose of the trade show? You guessed it. The most important thing. Prospects. And we don't have a plan for that? We don't have a strategy? Yeah, some of you probably do. Occasionally, a few of you may have a great trade show, in-show, post-show strategy, and you're killing it. That's why you're keeping it a secret, because none of your competitors are doing it at all. All right? There is a big leak in your game, because that is where people come to talk to you. They're away from the office. They're unencumbered. They're typically not stressed. They'll answer your questions. And by the way, you can do phenomenal training at trade shows. You know why? Repetition. Oh, you get so much repetition, but nobody's paying attention. We don't have somebody watching the presentations, watching the conversations. We're not debriefing what happened. We're not writing down key information. We're just swiping that card or getting that QR code or whatever and moving on to the next one. Bad decision. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. You can come out of a 3-4 day trade show, a 2-day trade show with 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 high value leads. And the vast majority of them can turn into really good opportunities if you do it well. Do you have a trade show strategy? What do we do before the show from a sales perspective? What do we do in the show? What do we do after the show? Do we measure the leads we get, the conversion rate, the amount of revenue and margin created? Do you track it? No? Then how do you know if it's even worth being there? Hey, that's a leak you can fix. And by the way, if you'd like some help with it, give me a call or email kelly@bizlockerroom.com. This is Sales and Training. See you next time.
Sales on Training is a production of Business Locker Room and Pod About It Productions. Music and editing by Doug Branson. To get more Kelly, visit bizlockerroom.com.